Moving is tough. Moving to a whole nother state, whether it's just the next state over or cross country, means there's so many nuances, so many things that you need to learn about that state to make the move as seamless as possible. And this year in particular, there's lots of new things that people need to know about when they're moving to Tennessee. Hey, I'm Susan Thetford, and you are now watching the Nashville Redefined show. I'm a realtor in the Nashville, Tennessee area and a lifelong realtor. Been doing this my entire life. I get calls and texts from people every single day who are moving to the Middle Tennessee area or thinking about it and asking me all kinds of questions, and I truly love it. This is the best place on earth that I can imagine living. So if that's for you, then I want you to go ahead and subscribe to this show, because every single week I do a new video that's teaching you different things about the areas, maybe best neighborhoods, best suburbs, what's the weather like, all kinds of stuff. So if that's of interest to you, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, tap the bell, because you will be notified every single time a new video is dropped. And if you have some questions, please let me know. These shows are a typical result of a question that I've been asked, and somebody else has your question too. So go ahead and put the word questions in the comments. I'm happy to answer them. So in today's show, I'm going to give you my top tips for making your move as seamless as possible. And this year with COVID, with the lack of inventory, with the difficulty in transportation, getting cross country, finding movers, there's a lot of things that make this time in particular maybe a little stressful. I want to ease that stress for you, and these tips will do just that. I can promise you. Hey, and be sure to stick around to the very last one. That's the most important. And if you forget everything else, this one will help you the most. Okay, so number one, if you are selling your home, if you're moving somewhere else and selling your home, you in all likelihood are experiencing what we're experiencing here. Very low inventory, high demand for your homes, and your home is going to sell fast. So when you sell it, ask your realtor, ask your expert who is helping you, is it possible, what do you think about me negotiating in my contract that we sell it, we close it, and if we accept this offer, you, Mr. Buyer, have to allow us, the owners, to stay in the home for another 30, 45, even 60 days, so that you in turn have your cash, you know the home is sold, and you can in turn come to Tennessee, find your home, and write an offer on it, not subject to any kind of contingency on selling your home in your other state. I can promise you those kind of offers are going nowhere here. The good thing for you is you are in the driver's seat as the seller in your hometown in all probability. So I've had this happen so many times. I've worked this just last week with one of my customers. I said, be sure when you're coming from Chicago, be sure that, and they had multiple offers, in the negotiation, an offer is not just what is the price going to be, it's all kinds of other terms. See if you can't get negotiated on your behalf by your realtor who's on top of things. An extra 45 days for you to rent back, or even free, not even have to pay rent, allowed to stay in that home, so that you now have a really strong offer when you find something here. This may well keep you from having two moves, and how perfect would that be? I've not heard anybody else talking about that, and it has worked several times for my customers just in the last couple months. See if that might work for you. So next, we're still in that pretend world of you're living in one state and you're moving to Tennessee, or moving from one city over here to Middle Tennessee area. You truly must, while you're sitting in your hometown, go ahead and get pre-approved with a local lender here. Now, it's very simple to do that. You pick up the phone and you call them and you talk about what you need. You need a pre-approval, not a pre-qualification. And you can easily do that from a distance. But what that allows you to do is know exactly how much you can afford for when I set up a search for you for homes. Once we've determined locations and some of the needs that you've got, I strongly will know exactly where I should be looking for you a home. Why does it have to be a local lender? Why shouldn't it be an e-lender or someone who's your best friend from hometown and they are licensed in this state? Because you're in a very competitive market when you come here to Middle Tennessee. And with that said, as someone who represents a seller, when I'm looking at several offers, I also want to know who the lender is. And I want to have had the experience of having worked with that lender, and I know that if they say they can get the work done, they can get that job done. That's why an experienced pre-approval from a lender in your new hometown is so important for you, regardless of where you're moving. You don't have to be here to do that. Ask your realtor. If you're going somewhere else, ask them for a local lender that everyone knows, everyone appreciates, everybody understands, gets the job done, and half of your worry should be over. Get that pre-approval from a local lender. Okay, we're still playing Let's Pretend. Your home now in New Jersey is sold. Your home is sold, you've got it under contract, you were able to negotiate, bravo, 45 days to stay in that home after you've sold it. You've got your money in hand, sitting in the bank, ready for you to come buy something. Now you're packing. You're packing as fast as you can. Don't take everything. Don't do what I did for my last move, which was, okay, I'm so tired of cleaning things out and getting rid of things and going back and forth to Goodwill. Just throw it all together, store it, take it to the new place, and then you'll figure it out. Don't do that. Just don't. It's going to be so much more expensive. You don't want to handle it twice. Don't do it. Leave stuff at home. Give it away to Goodwill. Write it off on your taxes for next year. Leave stuff at home that you're not positive that you want. Hey, if these tips are being helpful to you, please go ahead, put in the comments. So many people have moved many more times than I have. I've only moved locally. I've never moved out of my city. What are some tips that you have from your experiences that would help somebody else? Please put those in those comments. I'll read it. I can help someone else with your good experience. So next, when I just told you to leave stuff at home that you don't want and you don't love, now I'm going to tell you, bring it all with you. Susan, that makes no sense. You're crazy. No, I mean it. Bring it with you. There's some things that 2 years ago I would have said, you can leave that at home. Don't bring that with you. You can buy a new one here. But we are in the year 2020, 2021, crazy decade, as a matter of fact. And many people in other areas, it's typical to leave a washer and dryer, or it's typical to sell the refrigerator with the old home, and you think you're going to move here and buy a new one. The problem is, as you know, inventory of all things related to homes are in very, very short supply. So I've talked to many people, thankfully none of my customers, because they listen to me, who have left their refrigerator in their old state and thought they'd come here and buy a new one, go to Home Depot, order it from Ferguson's. They don't have them. Even floor models they're not selling because they don't hold inventory. So I've heard many horror stories of people having sold their refrigerator with their old home and coming here and not being able to have a refrigerator. Can you imagine? And having to order that Thermador, and you want to have it for 6 months, 8 months. There's nothing on the floor for the most part that you can buy. Refrigerators, washer and dryers, gets back to furniture even. Most furniture pieces you can't buy off the floor. They're ordered specifically for you. And as we know, with things going on around the world, it can take a long time. I've heard of many people having to buy a used refrigerator or washer and dryer off of Marketplace so that they have something to use in that 6 to 8 months while they're waiting for their new appliance to come. The very same thing is happening with furniture. So back to don't bring everything if you don't love it. The things that you think you need. What if you get here and there's no bed? What if you get here and you can't find a sofa that you want? Bring the things that will give you some creature comfort while you're here, such that if you are going to buy new ones and you have to wait 6 to 8 months, you're not sleeping on a sleeping bag on the floor and eating off of paper plates entirely. It's going to take some really good call management skills, but bring the things that normally you might leave otherwise, but these are different times. So this next one may surprise you, but if you have children or helping a senior, Here's what you really need to do is do your research from afar, from a distance. Don't wait till you get here, and get on waiting lists for preschools, for private schools, for senior living situations. Maybe mom or dad is moving with you, as happens a lot with people coming to Middle Tennessee. Mom and dad want to come with the family. If you think there are some needs for some daycare, preschools, anything like that, so go ahead and do the research. Talk to your realtor. Find out some of the best places in the areas that you want to live. Get on those waiting lists. In all probability, you're going to have to pay a fee for that. Frankly, if you're pregnant, get on preschool lists. I don't joke here. They can be 1 year, 2 years long waiting lists. There's so many families trying to move here. So get on those waiting lists, and if you have to pay a $50 or $100 fee, pay it. Get on the list as it becomes available. That way you have options. Along those same lines, your children are going to have to show proof of immunization from your home state, have to show proof of that, and have a Tennessee certificate on file. I can put in the description below exactly how to do that and the website to go to, so you can do it online. The less you've got to do when you're here, the better, and you aren't going to be able to get your child into that preschool or daycare without the updated immunization schedule. So go ahead and do it while you still got a little bit of breathing room. And I'm positive you're not going to leave your favorite pet in that other state. So here's what you need to know. All cats and dogs have to be immunized for rabies to be here in the state. And you also should get them on a flea and heartworm program. We have a lot of humidity, we have a lot of bugs. You don't want those coming in with the dogs, and ticks can be kind of bad, because I hope you're gonna love the hiking and all the outdoor activities we have. You need to get those pets on a schedule. Again, the rabies tag must be always on your dog's tags, and we do have leash laws. Just something to remember. Bring your animals' vaccination schedules with you as well. That way we can go ahead and make it easy for you here. And I know that on the back of your mind you're saying, but where do I get my fishing and hunting license, and do I need one? Okay, I got you. You will, as an adult, have to get a hunting and fishing license. You can get that by showing a valid Tennessee license to the Hunting and Fishing Commission. Again, I'll put that information in the description below. All adults have to have it. 13 and under does not need a license to fish. 13 to 15 is a junior hunting license. So I'll put all that information in the description below too, because you don't want to wait a long time to go ahead and be able to have fun here, especially if you're coming in the fall. Go ahead. You can do a lot of this work online. Go ahead and be ready, so you can take part in all the fall activities. That's great here in Tennessee. Perhaps one of the most nerve-wracking and expensive parts of moving to a new city is not having a place to live during the interim. Say you're moved, you've sold your home in your old location. That moving van is ready to come, but you still haven't pinpointed your perfect home. Obviously, guys, that's the best way to come here. Home is sold in your city and it's closed, and you're coming in with cash. Maybe getting a loan, we've got you covered there too. But where are you going to live during that interim period while you're looking for the perfect home? That also is potentially one of the most expensive parts of your move. No worries, I got you covered. Let's go meet one of my partners who can help us make that easy transition for you. So moving to Nashville can be costly. One of the most expensive things is where you're going to live in the interim between moving into that new home and selling your old home, and those moving vans are here. That's been an issue for a lot of people. During COVID, it was great because many Airbnbs were allowing short-term rentals to extend a bit and not be as expensive. But now that we are open and free to tourists, Airbnbs are tough. I'm here with a partner who has really helped a lot of my customers out, and I know she can help you. Rachel with Nashville Apartment Locators.
Hi guys.
Thank you very much for telling us. We were talking the other day about how somebody can do a rental, but not a long-term rental, and how do you go about finding that? You are a partner in finding that for somebody. So tell us a little about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So our entire business, we're all real estate agents, but we work solely with rentals. So kind of like what we were discussing earlier, it's always good to be a professional in one market. And we've chosen rentals because Nashville has quite a few. And there's a lot of people that are moving here. Obviously, the city is blowing up. So we work in and out of these apartments on a daily basis and have a lot of established relationships with the people that work on site. As I'm sure some of you have known from your searches online, the information in Nashville is not always updated and accurate. There's a lot of misinformation that
just like our MLS.
Exactly.
Zillow does not tell you the truth, guys, on anything.
Same situation. So because we know these people, we work with them every single day, we're in and out of these buildings, we just have a lot of information that's not easily accessible to someone that's brand new to the city. We also have years now of client feedback from living in these communities all over Nashville, and that is super helpful information as well.
Right.
One thing too that's I think really kind of puts our service at a very high level is the agents that work here are Nashville locals and very familiar with the different neighborhoods in Nashville. Normally when we're working with a client that's coming here that's not super familiar with Nashville, we'll kind of spend the first part of our appointment with them just getting them acclimated to the city and really talking up, you know, if you love coffee, we can tell you where to get the best cup of coffee. Whatever you're into, we know where it's at and where you can find it.
So you all are still, when someone asks you about crime or that kind of thing, you still do what I would do, which is direct them to the right resources to find that information, because we cannot direct you to anything related to that. But when I'm first starting to talk to someone, we've, for the most part, figured out the community that will be right for them. Maybe they want to be in Williamson County because of the public schools. But I don't have rental properties, nor are you likely to find that on the MLS. That's where Rachel would come in. Or if someone wants to be in the Murfreesboro area, that's where you would come in so that they could spend some time actually living in that area too, to see, yeah, this really is my right community. Yeah. And you all have the expertise of that.
Yes. And like you were saying earlier, because we do have short-term options, we do have furnished options that we can help you connect you with. There's a lot of resources for if you're in a transitionary period. It doesn't have to be a year-long lease. We do have other options available.
That's huge. So someone can come into town, the moving van can put their things into storage if that's the way they want to do it. We go out, find the right home, have 30 days to close that loan. They will have maybe had 3 months at least that you have been able to work out for them. And if that needs to be extended, that can happen as well. But they're not locked into a 1-year lease, right? Right. Yeah. And let's talk about this. How much more does it cost someone to go through you versus getting on Craigslist and trying to do it all themselves?
No, that's a great question. We are a completely free service to you. So we are paid out of the marketing budget of the properties that we work with. So it's kind of, I've been in sales a long time, but this is the first job that feels mutually beneficial for all parties involved.
Yeah.
We get to tour Nashville, the city we love, and meet a ton of awesome people.
Yeah.
Our clients are, you know, one thing is obviously every property has to offer the same, you know, pricing and specials to every single person that walks through the door. However, because we work with these properties on a regular basis and we know these people, you know, on a personal level, we know a lot of the leasing agents, the property managers, the regionals, we do get a lot of kind of, if there's a certain unit that just went on special and, you know, the pricing has just gone up, down to, you know, be a really great deal, we're the first to know about it. And it's kind of like having a built-in best friend as soon as you move here.
a concierge service.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. Well, that's what we want to try to put together in the whole partnerships when I'm helping somebody move into town, is putting the right people together to make that as seamless of a transition as possible. And when it doesn't cost them any money to use somebody who knows the inside scoop, why wouldn't you do that? One thing that I know that I've had happen in the past is someone still from out of town, they haven't even been able to come visit Nashville. But when you're trying to help them determine, I want this unit at Evergreen or that one at Bellevue Forest, you're actually taking video and taking them through the places to see it, so they can see from their mind's eye the same way I do with my videos and on walkthroughs.
Yeah, and I think that sight unseen option too is so important. Our agents will FaceTime clients from the properties, driving up to the properties, driving around the properties. We had a client that asked to see the trash chute, and we accommodated. Kind of
The world.
whatever is important to you is important to us, and we will make it happen.
That's an interesting one. Well, that's exactly the kind of service that I want to offer people. So I'm really happy that Rachel let me know about their 3-month service, because people don't want to spend a year's lease.
Right.
And they're often calling me to say, where should I go? I know what I know, but I know what I don't know too. So I have the partners that makes it perfect, and that's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
So thank you. I'll put in the comments below how people can reach out to you. Okay. Certainly feel free to do it directly, and let us know. Let us know if you have more questions for Rachel. Reach out to them, and we'll see you here in Nashville soon.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
So fantastic. What do you think? Do you feel a whole lot better now? That list should help you in figuring out a strategy, a blueprint for moving here. But the most important thing, the very last thing I promised, get in touch with me. We have so many people reaching out, calling, texting, emailing. I've helped 18 families myself move here this year. I know how to help you make a smooth transition. So go ahead, call me, email me, sing me a song, send up the smoke signals, whatever floats your boat. We got your back when you come in here to Tennessee. Susan Thetford Partners, looking forward to helping you. Go ahead, subscribe. Next week, we're going to look at a 55-plus community. I've got a lot of people moving here because their children moved here and they want to be next to grandchildren. I got you covered. See you next week. Until then, be blessed.